Right, well, that's the time for all of the workouts I've done. The brief, the 50 push-ups and 50 squats, and then the 10 push-ups and the 10 squats I did separately, which are videos that I made in preparation for the move, just some short ones. And technically, this has been just one fairly long session, but yeah, that's it. I'm done, and it's going to be the last ever video that I film over here. And cheers to moving, cheers to further progressing, and maybe, who knows, might come back and celebrate my victories at one of the parks that I've gone to around here. And cheers to making that happen. But for now, this is it. I'm done, and this might be the last ever set of videos, of exercise videos that I record here. And hey, as I keep on doing the exercise one from a short-term perspective, I say I wouldn't want to do it, even though I'm not injured or severely injured. I keep getting to a point where I find that I've never felt terrible from exercise to a point where I'm not overtraining. I've never felt, when I've challenged myself to an amount that I can take fairly easily, which is obviously developing, because I mean, over 1 year ago, over 1.5 years ago, 1st January 2022, I couldn't even do one push-up. Now I get to a point where I can do 10 normal push-ups in a row, not only on an incline as I was doing, but also on a flat surface. 1.5 years, that's what I've managed to do. Well, that's in terms of exercise ability. It just shows I could use that sort of mindset with pull-ups if I just go out. Now that I think about it, if I just go out my way to work on it eventually, bit by bit, then I definitely can get there quicker with the pull-ups in particular, and any other move. If I plan for it and then I go for it, regardless of how little I want to do it from a mental perspective. And if on the premise I'm not injured or severely injured, so be it. I'm going to go for it, I'm going to do it. And with all of this planning that I do for it to learn new skills, I just start to actually enjoy life more and not think about the fact that I'm going to die one day as much. And I'd be thinking about that particularly at night, like almost every night, if not every night. And I think in order to counter that, as I'm feeling less of the burden of thinking about that come off me a bit short term, one of many times I felt this burden weigh off me, I can counter this with optimism, which would be unnecessarily difficult to do if I stay pessimistic, which would be all too easy to do on the premise I allow myself to keep feeling motivated by anger to do these exercise logs, because it only will last for so long. That anger to keep going will only last for so long, and it will only be so long until I break myself down physically and or mentally, and in terms of like health issues wise as well. It's only a matter of time, if I keep on motivating myself with that anger that I'd have in response to mum telling me I'm not doing anything with my life, or the connotations I'm not doing anything with my life in particular. Hey, I know that I could just tell in my mind I'm calling my mum names now. It's just that anger, and in my mind I'd lay it out this way rather than just say what I want to say and then leave it and feel okay with standing up for myself, even though I do that sometimes, because with my financial situation, I might get kicked out if my mum or dad think I've said something that I said and or done something that they dislike enough. Well, yeah, I just feel I feel a bit tired, but in a pleasant way, like feeling a bit exhausted, and I think that's probably something that I could work on through the exercise or optimism I'm talking about, developing that. I wouldn't do that in school because there was just such a negative environment at home. It was not okay at home. So much shouting, and as a kid there was beatings. I mean, not for me. I mean, I got the lightest hand physically. I remember maybe one time my dad beat me. I don't really remember. I remember very vividly. But maybe a slap as well. But I got, in terms of like physical punishments, I got the lightest hand. But the relationship I have with my dad is really not all that. I think he just only acts pleasant when he gets what he wants out of people, and that's just it. And if that's not the case, then he does not. Basically, anything goes, really, and that's what I've experienced with my financial situation and wanting to get out of being around his presence in this vicinity so much. In my mind, as I'm saying, so bad, in response to make myself feel so angry, to basically making myself think that if I don't just take this disrespect, then if I do just take this disrespect and not stand up for myself, especially in my adolescence, not so much the case now, like in the argument today, I'd have the fear, or maybe subconsciously at that time, that I could get kicked out. He's threatened homelessness over me before, and even now as we've been moving, even today he's threatened, you just throw my stuff in the skip. So that would then mean any important documents just of mine would just be in the skip, just gone. And he's threatened that over me twice. And that's the sort of stuff that I think he's just, that in response to, I think he's just a really unpleasant human being, unless he's getting what he wants out of whoever, which I think would explain why it seemed like you speak to people with more respect when on the phone, because they just won't accept that. I think they would just accept this disrespect. But hey, yeah, anyway, that's it. I'm done. My watch is forever breaking. Hey, I definitely can admit that at times I have been very much disrespectful myself, out of retaliation, and perhaps maybe it is mine just in general. I don't think that he really understands that actions have consequences. And this really, even though it be going on the internet, is just my outlet to be able to express myself in the way I truly want to. And I think I have that right. Yeah. There's a whole load of threats that he's said as well. It's just really not nice. Got to a point where I felt the need to say, hey, if you do as you say you will, I'm too old for him to try and put his hands on me as he's threatened in the past. I say I'll call the police on you. I said if you do that, I'll just kick you out, basically. Nah. It doesn't matter if those threats, like the homelessness threats, are, as like my family might think, are just empty threats. Doesn't matter. That's a threat to a child, or his child. I'm not a child anymore. I'm an adult, but hey, he would try and say, well, although it is true, in pursuit of manipulating me, he said, well, I'm the dad, and he said it's okay in his mind for him to disrespect me, but not the other way around, because he's my dad. Everybody, I'd imagine every family has their own struggles to certain extents, and some people, some parents, some children genuinely are just more pleasant. He's not the most pleasant of parents, I wouldn't think. Definitely not the most in shape. He's obese, and in response to just family, I haven't been the most pleasant of sons, really. I can understand why on both sides, but it doesn't mean I want to be in this situation where I just carry on the cycle. I don't want to suffer like that anymore, where in this case dad would just think he could disrespect me because he's my dad, and because I don't have enough money to move out, and I'm supposed to just take it. Hey. Anyway, I'm done. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. I do this for you, I do that for you, and then that just means in return he can just disrespect me all he wants, he thinks. Mum's not much different either. But anyway, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm done. Cheers to moving on from such a situation, and cheers to giving myself the permission to live my life how I want to, through one means and then another and another on top of all of them, starting from exercise, peace, and then nutrition, so on. I sense that nutrition's helped with me speaking more honestly about my situation too. I know can be sometimes can be such a thing as too much sharing, but I feel comfortable enough to just speak my peace of mind, or otherwise I won't have any peace. And I think I have the right, just as a human, to express my peace of mind regardless of the fact that I might not have money coming in and all that stuff. It doesn't matter, I'm still human, and it's just done with the disrespect and all of this and just not doing anything about it. Yeah, anyway, I'm working on that, and it seems like it's working. Well, I'm letting my efforts work with that. So yeah, I just said I think it was just time for me just to let myself think what I truly want to think and have some place to express that, because if I don't, then I'll be making it way more difficult to experience peace of mind. And if that means that I don't look at my family in the most positive of life, then so be it, because I think it's a fairly realistic light I'm looking at them at. Yeah, especially my parents. Peace. Cheers to moving on. Cheers to moving on and living more ideally, regardless of all the manipulation tactics, eventually working through them and putting myself in a position where Dad can't threaten a lack of income over me. Peace.